Hey everybody, it's Mike for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Muslin's They Are Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a multi-talented actor, author, activist, and founder of a wonderful staffing network in the California area, born in Singapore, raised in Wales, an extensive career in national commercials and film. And he's also continues education in the East Tennessee in English and the fine arts. He later began his career in New York City in music theater and the Groundlings in Los Angeles. Also involved in the 2006 documentary Journey and began a wonderful staffing network basically during an event which we all know about. We'll talk more about that, and a testament to rewriting conventions and just about taking red carpets to a whole new level. And how does he do it? Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios outside beautiful downtown Los Angeles. He is also an author as well, too, the amazing multi-talented actor, author, activist, and founder of a wonderful network called Caleb Staffing Network. And we got the founder himself, the multi-talented Jeremiah Caleb. Jeremiah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi there. Thank you for having me, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too. Jeremiah, you're a multi-talented actor, author, activist, and founder of Caleb Staffing Network. You were born in Singapore, raised in Wales, and you have an extensive career in national commercials and film as well. You continue your education in East Tennessee in English and the fine arts. You later began a career in New York City in musical theater and the Groundlings in Los Angeles. And you also have a 2006 documentary Journey in India, led to the start of the Caleb Hope Foundation. You began your staffing network as well during the pandemic as an opportunity to help your community and doing a great job of it. And you'll serve as a testament to rewriting the conventions, establishing new benchmarks, and basically taking red carpets to a whole new level. And before we talk about that, and first of all, just tell us how you first got started.
Absolutely. Oh, you mean with the company? Yes.
Way back. You personally, way back.
Well,
time machine, Sherman, way back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to Singapore, old Singapore, before it was the modern city that it is now. I was born there, and generations of Singaporeans. So I'm very proud of that. Moved to Wales when I was a little boy, and then my parents were missionaries, so that's what placed from country to country. My dad worked among ethnic minorities, the poor communities. So we ended up in East Tennessee, of all places. Talk about a culture shock. A little Indian British boy coming to East Tennessee, and lovely, some of the most beautiful people in my life till this day. But I couldn't wait to get out because I just knew that I needed, I was longing for the city life. So in college, in high school, actually, I got the acting bug, and that's what took me to New York. And my dad passed away 2 weeks before my college graduation. So that was sort of a shifting for me, because until then everything was wrapped up around being around him and whatnot, and my mother. And so when that event occurred in my life, a lot of things changed, and I took the scholarship up to AMDA, which is the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York. And I went out there to train as a musical theater actor. So the rest is history, but that's really what brought me out there. My background in my love for Broadway, and I came out to LA because it wasn't the Broadway then, wasn't the Broadway today. Multi-ethnic casting and whatnot. So I knew I was sort of limited to what I could play. I also have a very deep voice. But
I can tell you got a great one. Yes.
Yeah, but a small body frame. Usually the actors with my body frame have the high tenor voices.
Well, you're setting up a new standard for that type. So be proud of it.
Right. But at that time, so and I was doing really well with the commercial world. So I came out to LA, and I never went back. I just was working more here, and I'm still an East Coast boy at heart. I love the East Coast, but I'm very grateful for the life California has given me.
I was just thinking about LA as well, too. You've been involved with the Groundlings as well, too. And that's a really good theater company. Sandy Hellberg was part of it, too. And just an amazing company.
Yes, that was nice. It's a privilege. And I studied with a few people out here in LA as well. So it's been lovely.
And when you caught the acting bug as well, too, what was it one precise moment that simply influenced you into pursuing acting when you caught the bug? What was that precise moment? What were you doing? And when the bug hit you?
So so here's the thing. I not only was I a pastor, a son of a pastor, I was son of a Pentecostal pastor. So that's wanting to be an actor was a no-no, it was taboo. We never talked about it, you
Oh.
know. I was so timid and nervous to even express that desire to tell stories like that. And I knew I
Mhm.
wanted to write books, and that wasn't a problem, but being an actor was a big taboo. So I went off to college. I was sitting with my advisor, my English advisor, and I mentioned my love for the arts. And he said, "You know what? They're doing a musical. They always need chorus members. I'm gonna make a call, and you can get some extra credits that way."
Nice.
And it was Once Upon a Mattress. You remember Carol Burnett?
Oh yeah, I love that one. Carol
Yeah.
Burnett, excellent.
And I tell you, I don't know what. I mean, it still moved me to tears standing back there with the heavy drapes before it opened and the audience and the energy. And I just knew that I could never get away from it. It just was part of who I was.
Oh my gosh, so that
Yeah,
was a moment. I love those moments like that. It's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
So I just started doing so many musicals that towards the end, I choreographed, I wrote my own. I
Oh.
just really dove in to the Shakespeare, the classically trained training,
Hmm.
all of those things, and I just dove right in. So
Oh my gosh, that's so
yeah.
nice. Of course, you being involved in musicals and everything that, what was your favorite musical that you enjoy doing? What was your favorite musical growing up, and especially actors and writers as well?
My favorite musical, I think Ragtime was my one of my favorites to do. And of course I love the old storybook musicals, The Sound of Music.
Hmm.
Um, more recently, I've fallen in love with The Greatest Showman ever. So that's something that my son and I enjoy together.
Oh, nice.
The songs, those. But I have a wide spectrum of love when it comes to musical theater. But definitely the old, my niche was always the Sinatra era.
Oh,
That was what I really jived
wow.
with. Yes, yes.
My goodness. Yeah.
So
You make me want to pull out the old vinyls as well, too, and put them on the RCA and play some Sinatra the way we're talking.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh my gosh. And of course, you also been in some documentaries as well, too. You also wrote some books
of
as
course.
well, too. We're here the amazing founder of Caleb Staffing Network, Jeremiah Caleb. We'll get to more of that in just 1 minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all you need. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those that love you to first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has gotten great reviews. In Evil Evan endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and Minos. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, Odyssey, Podbean, Pandora, and make sure you subscribe on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and follow us on all social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and more. Make sure your tickets with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com, check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles, also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. You're here with the multi-talented actor, author, and activist and founder of Caleb Staffing Network, Jeremiah Caleb, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about your staffing network, you've also been an author as well, too. You wrote Criminal Minds, Beyond Borders, Home Again, Coming Home, and more. And also, well, that's the acting part. I'm sorry. Well, I guess
I
we'll get
wish I
to that
wrote
part.
those.
I think we're still on that subject.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk more about that. Criminal Mind, Beyond Borders, and more. You're known for that. Child of the 70s, Home Again. Tell us a bit about that.
But you mean the TV television
Correct.
career?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, I've had a decent journey, not where I'd love to be. But I don't think the journey's ended by any means, and I feel like I'm still in the thick of it. Um, but yes, I've had the joy of playing multiple, a wide range of things, and so that's been just really great for me here. I've had a wonderful manager of 14 years.
Wow.
And he's based in New York, and he's just sort of been the wind beneath my wings, if you will. He's just been
Mm-hmm. And certainly
very
did.
steady.
Oh yeah, and certainly did as well too. You're
Yeah.
also an author as well too. You got He Walks With Me, In His Time, Unsung
Mhm.
Melodies. It's all a process. And tell us a bit about the books.
So, when I was 25 years old, I wanted to, like I said, I mentioned my dad passed away when I was very young, and so this was a man that really impacted my life. Really, he was almost 50 when I was born, so there was quite a big,
Oh wow.
age gap. Yes. And so for him, I was this new promise and this new, gift that he never thought he would have. And for me, that meant the gift of wisdom. I just had this
Hmm.
wonderful grandpa like dad. And I was very obsessed with his life. And the beautiful thing about my dad is he was born a Brahmin Hindu in India in the middle of the war, World
Mm.
War in the 1930s. And when he was 15, he changed his religion because of the Christian influence in India at that time, with the British colonization and whatnot. And he was disowned. So he lived in the slums and in the streets. And
Oh
eventually he had his
wow.
own radio show. He was known as Radio Uncle. There was a show
Radio
in the 70s.
Uncle.
Yes. He would tell stories to children, and children would write letters to the network. And during the week, he would handwrite responses to each child. So
Nice.
quite of impact for that generation at that time. And I'd never been to India. I'd never, seen this world of my dad's. And so, at 25, I decided I was going to go for the first time in my life for 40 days, wearing his clothes from the 70s, which is a saffron cloth.
Okay.
And I had a buddy that came with me to capture things on camera. And the idea was that, one day I can make a little film about this
Mm.
journey. Well, I didn't anticipate the impact that it would have on my life. And the poverty first really wrecked me.
Mm.
I'd never seen anything like it, much less a place where, my people originated from. Um,
Wow.
so that was and I knew I had to do something about it. And
Hmm.
so that led to the Caleb Hope Foundation eventually. So that's how that started. Um, and years later, I finally wrote the book after many drafts of struggling. And it's called He Walks With Me. And his journey, it's my dad's story about, being in British India and coming through all of that. And He Walks With, In His Time is a sequel to that. So that was by popular demand. So
Hmm.
it picks off where He Walks With Me ends. And that's probably my most passionate piece of work in his time. It's
Nice.
very relevant to me. It begins on the day of 9/11, at the
Oh
moment
wow.
of the World Trade Center attacks. That's when it begins. And that also had a huge impact in my life in New York and what that meant to me. So if you want to check that out, that probably is the most meaningful thing that I've written in his time. And Unsung Melodies is a friend of mine in New York. She was this beautiful actress. Her name was Joy Ashley,
Hmm.
and she was a force in the plus model industry.
Mm.
And she passed away at 36. And this is a person I talked to every day almost, very, very close to me. And she passed away. And when she passed, I went to New York to pack up her things and make all the arrangements. And her mother came and brought me a stack of her writing
Oh my
and said,
gosh.
"You probably know what to do with this." And so we'd been talking about a book for years. And so Unsung Melody is my narratives merged, intertwined with her poetry.
Wow.
So it's sort of a love song to this beloved friend of mine that is still a sort of a muse in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow. I'm touched by this. Amazing.
yeah. And I have a few things in the works that I'm
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
I'll
yeah.
definitely get to that. And speaking of authors, you writing books and everything, who are some of your favorite authors and writers growing up?
I'm sorry.
Who are some of your favorite authors growing up?
Oh, I mean, I'm a big romantic. Nicholas Sparks. I love Nicholas Sparks. Um, I love Henry Nouwen, who was a monk.
Mm-hmm.
That just really speaks to my heart. Some of the things that he's written. Jhumpa Lahiri,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Kali Kozini, the kite runner. Anything that basically kind of really gets deep down and tugs at the heartstrings. That's my genre. So I
Oh,
find when I write, I'm influenced by all of these voices.
oh, wow.
Well,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. And of course you're a big impact in your community, in your friends, your family and everything. And of course, speaking of community, you also began the Caleb Staffing Network during the pandemic as an opportunity to help your community. And tell us more about the Caleb Staffing Network and how it helps the community. And what was that one moment simply said, I'm gonna start a staffing network.
So that was a fluke. I had never intended. I am not a businessman. At least maybe I am now, but I wasn't then, and I never even entertained the idea of starting any kind of company because that just wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had a side hustle, like every actor here. I was a bartender and then I became a mixologist. It's my personality. When I do something, I end up, even if it's not my career path, I end up putting all of it, my energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so naturally, when you do that, you just grow, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I went from being a bartender to a manager to server, event manager, hotel management, all these things. I just started
Wow.
rising in that world. So the pandemic comes along. I have a newborn at home. Literally, my son was
Ooh.
2 months old. The world shut down, as you know, and especially for my industry, because we can't do any catering. Everything is closed, and actors were out of work. And I was working with a few event planners at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and one in particular, she wanted to lift the spirits of her clients, so she talked them into throwing parties anyway,
Uh-huh.
but that were completely COVID safe. So mask, shields, matching masks. She managed to make it so trendy and so meaningful. She socially distanced the tables and whatnot. And so she said, "Can you help me staff this?" Now, my personality is if my name is attached to something, it has to be good. So, one, I was thinking I want to help my actor buddies who are out of work.
Okay.
Two, there's a certain standard. I'm not going to recommend anyone that doesn't have my standard.
Okay. And the standard
That
is
which is just excellence, positive work environment. Those are the two things that our company is really built on. The best of the best in the industry. So that's how it started. So I was bringing friends in. We were doing little events, and then she introduced me to a caterer, and they were growing bigger at that time. And they
oh,
said,
wow.
look, Jeremiah, we love your work. We love the kind of people you bring in, but we can't afford to keep doing these 1099 things. You should be a company. If you're a company, we will keep you busy. And
Wow.
they kept
Okay.
their word. And so I said, okay, if you're going if you're going to guarantee me that, then I'm going to jump in. And so we hit the ground running, and the rest was just word of mouth. So I learned on the fly. Actually, there was another company that I started with a friend. It was a partnership. It didn't turn out to be the best idea because I didn't. Both of us didn't know what we were doing, and I learned a lot. So we dissolved that, and I started Caleb Staffing Network from scratch after a year of having been in this partnership.
Oh,
But I
wow.
learned so much in that 1 year because I literally was learning as I was going.
So basically, you're kind of
Started the
operating.
new company. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wow. So you're operating Caleb Staffing Network as a 1099 for 1 year before you became a company. It's like, I mean, you got so much patience in this.
Yeah. Well,
People try a company after about a month or two, they shut it down right away. But it's like,
yes.
I mean,
Well,
you
that
got
wasn't
patience
Caleb
right
Staffing
there.
Network at that point. It was
Uh,
something else. It was a
it, it,
partnership.
it was
Yeah.
some along the lines, yes. So it's
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
that thing and everything, and of course, everything
Exactly.
like that. So basically, and you offer a lot of services as well, too.
Yeah.
And what are some of the services you offer and how do they differ from the competition?
Well, so basically, we provide event staff to high-end clients, bartenders, waiters, managers, model staff, production staff, those sorts of things. And so we just we don't really compromise on the standard, and we really value training. So we spend a lot of time training the staff to do it the way that I would have done it back then. And so
Hmm.
it's a lost art. That even work ethic is sort of changed after the pandemic. And so you're trying to reclaim We call it serving the modern world with a classic flair, that Downton Abbey style of service we want to bring to modern America, modern Los Angeles. And people still want that experience. That's what we realized. People are casual now. They don't want to wear suits. They just want to be, not wear socks, like, things like that.
Just wear like you and I are wearing, right?
Yes, but at the same time, they want the experience of feeling special at an event. You come there, everything is effortless. Everyone is, kind of they blend in, but they're available to you. And politeness, and just you don't by the end of the event, wow, I don't even remember reaching for something. Everything was brought to me. So
It just made me think of the Roaring '20s, the '30s, even the '40s, '50s, where you get that service and everything. What
right.
era did you had in mind when it came to that type of service? You had different eras around that time: '30s, '40s, '50s, like the Roaring '20s, Hollywood, or like say Harlem, or Windy City, everything like that. What kind of eras did you had in mind when it comes to that type of service?
Well, I think I am stuck. I don't know why, but I've just been an old soul. I've always been drawn to between the 20s to the 50s,
Okay.
that era. And
Okay.
even if you watch anything, you watch a video from that time, um, even if you watch a presidential speech, you watch a presidential speech from now, and then you watch one from the 1950s and the 60s, even at Kennedy's time, there's a different inflection of the voice. There's a dignity in the way that language is communicated, the inflection of the voice, the tone, and all of that kind of plays into what we say. This is
Wow.
what service is about. If you can kind of, we talk a lot about salutation. We never call you never call the guests, hey babe, hey sweetie, hey honey.
Or like him, her,
Yeah,
yo, and all that stuff.
of course. It's just a very dignified, you're treating every guest as VIP.
Okay. So it's just
Yeah,
like, like say, good afternoon, sir, good evening, madam, and
right.
or like say, hello and everything like that. So it's like the classic salutations.
Right. And I also think my cultural background leads into that, because if you look at the service industry in other countries like Asia, or Dubai, Singapore, where I'm from, it's a vast difference. If you go on a Singapore Airlines and then you go on a local airlines here, it's the way that you're spoken to, the way that things are, it really stands out. And
Mhm.
so I think they're onto something in Asia. And so if I can bring that here, it's just so amazing. Yeah.
Hmm. I think I read something about where they got, what was it, the largest hotel in Singapore and the world. I think how many floors is that? Like
I
100,
don't know.
200, the
The one that looks
tallest.
like a boat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I read about. I went,
Yeah.
holy cow.
And
It made me
all
think.
that didn't exist when I was a child, because a lot of Singapore is from reclaimed land. So
Hmm.
Singapore was physically a smaller country when I was a little boy. And now it's
Wow.
reclaimed land that they built cities on. So
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
so amazing. And of course, what does Jeremiah Caleb has to offer with Caleb Staffing Network, how to join, what to do, and everything. Oh, by the way, and where can people reach you with your works and get on Caleb Staffing? And how do they get more information from you?
So they can go on their websites. JeremiahCaleb.com is me. CalebStaffingNetwork.com is the company, the staffing company. And Caleb Hope Foundation, if they want to donate to, we sponsored the education of destitute slum orphans in India. And so 5% of our company revenue goes to local charities, but the overall charity for us is Caleb Hope Foundation. And so we sponsor about 100 children's education every year.
Wow, that is so amazing. And
So
what's coming up with? Oh,
so
go
the
ahead.
company
Go ahead. I'm
covers,
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, so I'm sorry. The company covers the administration of the foundation, but we're always needing new sponsors to sponsor new children. We have a list of children on the waiting list that need sponsors, and it's just like Compassion or World Vision. It's a monthly support, and it provides for their everything, their basic necessities, their education, their school fees, all of that. And it, really empowers them to break the cycle of poverty. So
Okay. And of course, there's a lot of good things going on. What's come up with the amazing Jeremiah Caleb of Caleb Staffing Network? We'll find out just 1 minute. You're listening to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mulson Missing. We'll be back with the multi-talented Jeremiah Caleb of the Caleb Staffing Network after this time out. We're back to the multi-talented author, activist, and also the author, amazing founder of Caleb Staffing Network, Jeremiah Caleb, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And we cover a lot of ground. I mean, you just have a lot of great experience and a lot of spirit. And of course, if you ever come up somewhere to Bismarck, I mean, we'll have to have you on board. So,
oh, wonderful. Never know. You never know.
right. And what are your plans, by the way, for 2024 and beyond, especially with Caleb Staffing Network and more?
We're just constantly trying to create a more intimate environment, a community. Just really work, and I feel like we have a strong product. We're there. We would love to have new clients to broaden our horizons in LA, because we're at the moment there. We don't have plans in 2025 to expand anywhere else. We just really want to do LA, really, serve out California to the best of our abilities. So that's one. Really try to get a wider range of clients, and also to just really grow this sense of tribe, the sense of tribe that exists among our staff, and really kind of nurture them. And that's one of the things that really fueled me. Is in New York, I had a wonderful community, exceptional community, and I never felt alone. I never thought about the fact that I had no family in this country, or anything like that. It was just such a wonderful thing, and I longed for it in LA. And LA is kind of it's different. It's a different vibe, and it's harder to build that authentically. And I feel like that is organically forming ever since we started Caleb Staffing Network, just with our workers. And so that's something I'd love to cultivate and just invest in them.
And speaking of workers, how can people apply to Caleb Staffing Network?
They can go on the website and fill out an application. You do have to have a minimum of 2 years experience in the event catering, in the event world here in Los Angeles. Outside of restaurants or hotels, we need them to have at least had 2 years of experience doing the kind of events that we do before we bring them on.
All right. Well, certainly make sure of that if anybody's looking for work, or Caleb Staffing Network as well. And what's the website for Caleb Staffing?
CalebStaffingNetwork.com.
All right. We'll have people check that out. In the meantime, who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
In my career, comes back to my dad. It really comes back to my dad, because my dad was a man. He was not eloquent. He was a man of a few words. His English wasn't even fantastic. And yet he lived out his name. And his name means, Caleb means to be in humble service to others. And so if you notice we have Caleb Hope Foundation, Caleb Staffing Network, not because it's my name or my last name, but because every time I looked into these creative names, my friends, those close to me said, come back to your name. What does it mean? That's your heart. That's really what you want to be a part of. So let's just profess that. Let's call it that. And so
Wow.
I think that's really influenced every aspect. My father was a father. He was a father to many. There were countless of people who didn't just call him pastor or reverend. They called him uncle. They called him father, dad. As the only child growing up, all these other people calling my dad dad. Now I have that desire. I think if I died tomorrow, what I want them to say about me is he was a father to many. And so that kind of just really my dad just fuels me on as I get older and I get closer to the age that he was when I was born. I feel like it's become very much a part of everything I touch.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I
Yeah.
guess we'll start calling you dad from now on. So
Yeah. No daddy, but dad's fine.
Go daddy. Yeah, that'd be great. I
Yeah.
love that one. Did someone else come up with that name? Okay, we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah.
And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
That's great. I think the best advice I can give for anyone, especially anyone who's discouraged with where they are in life and career, is think outside of yourself.
That's a good one.
Because we were born out of COVID, and you were forced to think about, woe is me, I'm here, I have no finances, I have this, I may die, my family might die. But the moment I started putting the energy out, how can I be a man for others? My life started to become full. And
Wow.
that, I think, is the secret. If there's anything I can impart, it's that, um, when we come to those rough times, it's a call to just think outward. How can we lead the world better than we found it? And we will start to find just this deep sense of purpose that, and energy. I don't know how I have so much energy with a toddler at home, but I do. This is what fuels me. So
I think it's the spirit of the Caleb that gives you that energy. I think that's what it is. So, totally amazing. We're here with the multi-talented Jeremiah Caleb, author, activist, and actor, and the founder of the Caleb Staffing Network here on the Mike Widener Show. Jeremiah, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people check out your works and get more information on Caleb Staffing Network?
So, we're on Instagram as well. On Instagram, Jeremiah Caleb or Caleb Staffing Network. And our websites are simple: calebstaffingnetwork.com, jeremiahcaleb.com, calebhopefoundation.com. So,
all right. Well, certainly check that out. Once again, Jeremiah, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. We wish all the best. And Jeremiah, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
thank you so much.